Compromise. Warning: this fic contains oral, forced orgasm, orgasm resistance, teasing, and female on female action. Viewer discretion is advised. Daring Do and the Horseshoe of Doom. Chapter 7. Quietly, the decision had been made. The greasy ichor flooded past her lips and cascaded down her throat, forcing the pony to wince at the vile flavor that danced across her tongue. With the potion swallowed, the deed had been done. Daring Do was standing on death's door. The fluid racing into her belly would guarantee her death within 12 hours. Just enough time to enter the labyrinth, find the Horseshoe of Legend, and return it to its rightful place. Only tainted blood could open the door to the forbidden maze, and now, more than ever, Daring Do was certain her blood was coursing with poison. Her veins were on fire, her heart thudding against her chest. And as the chieftain of the tribe nodded towards her in approval, Daring Do wondered if she had made a costly mistake. No. With her pit helmet on and her trusty whip wrapped around her shoulder, Daring Do took her first few staggering steps into the maze. Only by finding the horseshoe could this poison be cured. Only by utilizing her well-honed. Twilight moaned, arching her head back with a squeak of pleasure. From underneath her, Rainbow Dash couldn't help but giggle quietly, peering up past the purple belly at Twilight's blissful expression. "How you doing there, Twi?" Rainbow Dash muttered from between Twilight's thighs, staring up at her with a devilish grin. Twilight blushed quietly and shifted her haunches, still trying to get comfortable sitting on another pony's face. She glared down at the scarlet, gold, and orange sunrise of a mane that tuffed out past her thighs and drew in a quiet breath. I'm fine. I'm just fine." Twilight stammered softly. Rainbow grinned and planted a demure kiss on the purple folds of Twilight's pouty little sex. "Fine. Then keep reading." Rainbow snapped smugly. Twilight drew in a deep breath and turned the page. The mold-ridden walls seemed to loom overhead, arching up and towering as Daring Do entered into the next room. The poison, she thought. Surely it was affecting her senses, making her see things that weren't there, making her perilous trek harder than it had to be. Each ragged, weakened step took her one step closer to the cure, though, and that was what fueled her most. The dusty floor in front of her was lined with symbols. The floor carved out into shapes of the sun, the moon, stars, and other shapes. Sure, it was room to test her Dashie. Twilight whined, rolling her hips shyly back and forth while Rainbow Dash casually flicked her tongue across the soaking wet cavern. "You sound like you're getting close," Rainbow Dash teased in a sing-song voice, forcing Twilight to flush much deeper than she had before. No, I'm not. I'm doing just fine," she sputtered, but Rainbow Dash only chuckled quietly from between her legs. So, you know you can't take much more. Give in to me, egghead. I love licking this little pretty pony pussy. You can't take it, and you're gonna come. Not even close to a whole chapter," the Pegasus explained, while Twilight adjusted her seat again, best that she could with Rainbow's muzzle pressed directly against her hidden folds. "Not done yet." She huffed sharply and focused on the page in front of her. It was by no means a simple puzzle. The ancient ponies who had once dwelled in the maze knew how to keep themselves safe from bandits and intruders. And a gale of fire that sprayed over Daring Do's head reinforced that fact. As she stepped across the wrong tile on the floor, the dizzying sway of her steps were doing her no favors, and, try as she might, Daring Do was having a hard time seeing straight. Stepping on the second incorrect tile led to a plethora of spears that shot out of the wall, barely missing the adventurous pony, who dodged out of the way at the last second. Now, laying on the floor, panting heavily, Darren Dew could really feel the effect of the poison. It was really... Come on, Rainbow Dash whispered underneath her, grinning all the whilst she lavished Twilight's perfect little cunning with attention. Starting to affect the effects of the Come for me, Twilight, Rainbow urged, wriggling her tongue past the sweet plum purple folds, back and forth. The tiles on the floor. You naughty little filly, Rainbow teased, delighting in the helpless orgasmic shiver that rippled through Twilight's frame, leaving her gasping for breath as the little unicorn finally gave in to Rainbow's demands. A hot burst of sweet girl honey trickled over Rainbow's lips as she brought Twilight to a long-awaited climax, and all Twilight could do was rock her hips back and forth, moaning quietly into the empty library. The book tumbled to the floor, and Twilight grasped the sheets of her bed, crying out louder as a second orgasm raced through her frame, leaving her panting and deluged of the little wager Rainbow Dash had talked her into. Was that even 3 pages? A voice chuckled from underneath Twilight, who immediately rolled over to try and avoid suffocating her lover. Rainbow Dash wiggled up into the bed, laying next to Twilight with a cheeky little grin over her muzzle. Twilight sighed. There was nothing Rainbow Dash liked better than to win, especially when it came to Twilight's sexual expense. The unicorn blushed and squirmed as Rainbow nuzzled in against her, grinning like she had just won a race of sorts. I wanted you to give me a challenge, Twilight. I can even read twice that. Easy, Rainbow snorted. Twilight rolled her eyes, but let her muzzle twist into a warm little grin nonetheless. Alright then. Get to reading, Rainbow, Twilight snapped, shuffling her way down and pulling Rainbow's tight little blue behind over her muzzle. Rainbow squeaked quietly before reaching down to pick up the book and flipping it to the page Twilight had left off. Twilight announced, forcing Rainbow to lift a leg curiously. What was that? She asked. Twilight grinned. We're never gonna finish this book, you know, she giggled. And for some reason, that was just fine with the both of them. Sorry if you can hear background construction work in the background. I think downstairs they're trying to do some reconstruction or something. Either that or some renovation. Or this is another possibility. They're having some crazy fucking sex down there. And I need in on it. So I hope you really enjoyed. I read some of the comments on the previous video. I'll check them out. I'll go look for stories with those certain fetishes in them. I'm sorry I'm speaking really fast. I don't want you to listen to all this stupid shite in the back. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Till next time. Bye-bye.